What's good, everyone? It's Coach Abris here, back with another banger, the Don't Quit Replace Protocol. For those who hasn't seen me speaking yet, I'm the founder of Mythical Gains. We help entrepreneurs and busy executives add at least 40% to their business output, meanwhile losing 30 pounds and gaining at least 7 pounds of muscle in less than 3 hours a week. That's the goal, being as time efficient as possible, but it won't be potential opportunity if you stick to your bad habits. But the problem is that most of you say that you need to quit your unhealthy habits or those activities that you repeat consistently and are actually holding you back. Different types of um, distractions like smoking, drinking, and so on and so on. You shouldn't quit them. So here's the thing. That's why I call it don't quit, replace, because we will replace these habits with healthy activities, with so-called healthy coping mechanisms, with a very simple framework. So, you know, the more you scale up your business. So we've been working with several entrepreneurs, scaling from 6 to 7, 7 to 8, even from 8 to 9 figures. What we found out that the more you scale up, the more these bad habits stick, and the harder it is to get rid of them. So the sooner you are, the better. The sooner you get rid of these, the better. And that's why you shouldn't completely kill these habits. You have to gradually replace them. And this is the first time that you make this choice. You make this decision that, okay, this shit is hurting my bottom line and I don't want to do this anymore, but I don't want to immediately cut this out because, of course, it would completely just turn off all of my operations, and you don't want that. You don't want that. So here is the simple framework that will guide you through all the steps that you need to take to replace these addictions with actually healthy habits which build you up and your business. But I know that many of you might say, and it's a very, very common thing that I've heard from many of you founders, that I'm an addictive person. So I'm easily addicted. I have this, I have that. So, well, to be honest, all of us human beings are addictive to a certain degree. And we all are accustomed to doing the same things, repeating the same things over and over again. Why? Because our brain is our laziest organ. So it will always look for the lowest energy neural pathways as possible. So it will repeat the same activities over and over again. And when you try to take up a new one, it will be really difficult. So you have to force your brain, at least in the first 3 weeks. So it takes 3 weeks for your brain to switch from a high energy activity, the new habit, to a low energy activity. And we can call these habits, we can call these addictions, but they are with us, and it's all up to you what you get addicted to. So if you are addicted to a certain degree to exercising, reading, helping others, building a business, these are actually not that bad addictions. So using it as an excuse that you are an addictive person, the reason why it's invalid is that we are all addictive people, because we are people. And the next step, when you admit that yes, it's just human nature, you always tend to say, I'm too stressed to quit these habits, especially for smokers, especially for emotional eaters, stress eaters, binge drinkers. You are too stressed to put down that hamburger, put down that booze and stuff like that. But it's good, because you discover that the real reason is not that you are an addictive person. The real reason is not that you enjoy, inhaling that unhealthy smoke to your lungs, right? I mean, I'm not against smoking at all. Sometimes I do it myself. What really matters is that you don't do it as a coping for something, but you keep these things like alcohol, cigarettes, cigars, or whatever, you keep these for special occasions and pleasure. And you don't depend on these things to keep yourself in operation. That's the goal. And when you discover that these commodities are not the things that you really enjoy, you don't do them out of enjoyment, but you do them to cope for stress or something different. The reason I brought up stress is that 85% of the time it's stress, because the bigger your business is, the more you scale up, the more stress you have to endure. And if you can't endure it without these substances, you are addicted just to endure the stress. It will be a lot more difficult later on, because this is what business is about. You have to keep enduring more and more stress. So that's a very good thing that you discovered, that you are too stressed to quit. But you're not too stressed to quit, you are stressed, and that's why you don't quit. So see the difference? Now it's time to replace these stress-related habits with something that actually cures the root cause, because that's the root cause of the problem. You successfully identified it. It might not be stress, it might be something different, but in most cases it is stress. So now you can look for something which helps to replace the activities and still reduce stress, not only temporarily, but also in the long term. But this is the point where you start saying the good old, I will quit next year, I will quit next month. So if you haven't heard of the Groundhog Day phenomenon yet, it's just basically the day that never comes, like that famous Metallica song. So there is no magical moment of time when you will suddenly put down all of these poisonous, toxic, bad habits. Only you can break the spell, and it happens. The best time to break the spell was yesterday, but the second best is today. And that's why I developed the so-called four-step FNDF framework, where we find, note, divide, and flex your addiction. This is how we replace. But what do these mean, like find, note, divide, and flex? Well, it's not a code name for a secret fight club or superhero club or whatever. It's just a very simple framework that you can just take it from here and copy paste this into your own life in your own terms. So basically you can already start employing this now. Let's go into a little bit of details. So what is find? Not treasure hunting, but you have to find, of course, the root cause of the problem and then a healthy replacement activity. So let's say on days when you're going to the gym, when you do some intense exercise, you are less likely to drink alcohol. This is scientifically proven and empirically proven as well. So none of my clients drink on those days when they train. And it's absolutely logical. You don't want to do something counteractive, right? And the better you sleep, the less likely you are to binge snack or stress eat, emotional eat. Why? Because the more quality your sleep is, the less hunger hormones your body produces, and the more satiety hormones your body produces. So it's a win-win from both points of view. And you know, when you have those stress-related smoking breaks, there are so many different supplements, techniques, protocols that you can follow for much more effective reduction in your stress hormones, in cortisol. So if you just look into ashwagandha, that just the sheer fact that it can reduce your stress hormone levels at least by 30%. Or if you look into progressive muscle relaxation techniques what the military is using, or deep breathing protocols, and all these different things that are regulating your stress factors. It is my firm belief that the better you sleep and the higher your testosterone is, as it is proven by my and my client results as well, the lower your cortisol gets, the lower your stress hormones are. So if you find these different replacement activities, you won't feel the urge anymore to indulge in these different addictions. But that doesn't mean that you will suddenly stop. It's a process. So that's why we go to step 2, note. You will note down every single time when you get the urge to indulge in your addiction, into your bad habit. Why? Because we want to know how often it happens over the course of 1 week. We want to know why it happens, what's the reason of the urge, and what are the time intervals in between. What is the trigger reaction? Why do you need to drink another bottle of beer, or smoke another pack of cigarettes, or whatever? So you need to find these and identify the reasons. And once you've done that, now you will divide. This is the fun part. So I don't ask you to immediately replace every time you get the urge. No, we will divide it by 50-50. So out of 10 occasions, 5 times you will practice the replacement habit, whatever it may be. It could be 30 push-ups, it could be a round of progressive muscle relaxation, whatever, or drinking a chamomile tea. So there are many, many different ways, and you have to find the one that suits you the best. And 5 times out of 10, so the second 5 times, you will indulge. So 50% of the time you are replacing, 50% of the time you are indulging. And how we move away from indulgement in favor of replacement, this is the final step, flex. So each week you will flex this kind of division between replacement and indulgement by 15 to 25%. So, of course, in favor of replacement. So you will start indulging less and you will start replacing more. This way, you can remove any addictions or bad habits from your life without assigning a specific date to start it, or for a specific date for quitting. No, you can gradually stop your addictions. You can stop practicing them in less than 3 weeks if you follow this protocol. Because as the great philosopher Plato said, the first and greatest victory is to conquer yourself. Because if you can't conquer yourself, you have just suffered the biggest defeat. But we are not defeatists. We are victors, not victims. And as you know, as an entrepreneur or CEO, that the only road is facing forward. So you can't let yourself to be conquered by yourself or your bad habits. And I'm not saying that it is a shame to indulge. I think it's just a problem which is caused by a root cause. And once you find a replacement habit which treats or solves the root cause, then it's much easier to get down from these different types of indulgences. So this is the new strategy that you have to use. And this is how you can fix your health, meanwhile scaling a very stressful business. Because this is how João lost 50 pounds in a period of 6 months. This is how Benjamin lost 55 pounds in the period of 6 months. This is how Hunter built 15 pounds of lean muscle mass. This is how Silas lost 34 pounds. And none of these guys spent more than 2 to 3 hours in the gym on a weekly basis. So our main goal was to replace their indulgences when it comes to stress eating, food, bad sleeping habits, alcohol, drugs, and so on and so on. I know how it goes in the world of entrepreneurs, so I wouldn't be surprised if most of you already tried a couple of psychedelics or whatever. It's not a shame. The shame is staying that way, right? So convincing yourself that you will quit at some point, but the further you get, the harder it is to quit. That's why I urge you to do that today. And you can achieve great transformations, and this way you can grow your business much faster and easier because you focus better. There are not so many distractions this way. So here you can see a couple of other guys we've been working together from different businesses, different agencies, e-commerce companies, and so on and so on. So the possibilities are endless, and I know that we are all human. We all struggle with some kind of addictions, but that's why it's important not to quit them, but to replace them. Because once you quit something, nothing else is left but a void, and you want to fill this void, and usually you fill it with something even more unhealthy, and we want to fill that void with something healthy in this case. So at this point, if you feel like you could copy and paste this framework into your life and this could help you, then do it as soon as possible. And if you feel like that you need some external guidance, some help, someone who keeps you accountable and has several years of experience in that regard, then evaluate if you are ready to add at least 40% to your business output by optimizing your sleep and recovery and getting rid of all of these addictions. If you want to completely kill or at least learn how to manage your stress levels, because as I mentioned before, the higher you get, the more you scale up. the more stress you have to endure. If you want to work faster, if you want to get twice as much work done in 50% of the time, so if you are focused on efficiency instead of the number of hours that you put in, or if you are not satisfied with the man that you see in the mirror and you want to somehow bridge the gap between your current state today and the physique that you've always dreamed of, or if you just simply wish to have those concrete crushing testosterone levels when you were a teenager, then I think at this point it's not even a question that we will make a great dream. So feel free to click here and book a free call, and let's discover your issues further and let's solve them. Not only your issues, but their root causes, because that's what it's about. And before you leave, just remember, we are not here to quit, we are here to replace. Thanks for watching.